officially politically incorrect. We are doing a tour-guided experience here at the Robert Mangaliso house. So what I'm going to do now, this is the delegation that we have with. I'm just going to mic him up so we can hear what he says. Let's take it through.
Kimberley had no...
Apologies for that. Thank you. Sure.
Okay, where was I? Okay, when Kimberley first started, Kimberley comprised of 4 locations. Now, all these locations, they never had names. They were only referred to by their numbers. We had location number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Location number 1 used to be where your Virgin Active would currently be. That was location number 1. This location was location number 2. Location number 3 would be where your industrial area is currently today. And location number 4 is where you find Sovrplaiki University at. So these 4 locations formed Kimberley. This one specifically was a demarcated, designated native location. It was a location used as a reservoir for human capital to serve the mines. Whenever these Europeans needed a workforce to work the mines, they would draw it from this location. Whenever their women need someone to work in the kitchen, they would draw from this location. So it used to be a reservoir. Now, the latter, that is Kimberley, there's also the dark side of Kimberley. With all those diamonds that were mined from the big hole, they never went for the development of this area because location number 1, number 3, and number 4 had subsequently died off for the creation of a white settlement. But location number 2 remained. Hence, whenever we speak of a reference point to the earliest locations of Kimberley, Galeshewe remains our reference point because these other ones are dead. Only new settlements now. Now, with that history of that stems from your 1876, I mean, it's over 150 years now. Galeshewe celebrates 152 years this year, last year. It celebrated 152 years. Look at the architecture of Greater Number 2. Look at the material that built these houses. You see an English dominance in the architecture because our architecture as black people is a round architecture. We always build our houses in a round shape. These corners came with the Europeans. You can even see the Victorian dominance in the architecture of these houses. Now, this location, it's what they would do. They would sell you a stand. You would buy a stand, and then build yourself a house within the location at demarcated areas. The idea of creating a location like this was to put black people in a confined space where they can be controlled and contained. Hence, we have what we call locations. But today we still need to question even the learning that goes behind city planning, town planning, including designs, because our roads are not even designed to suit us. It is to suit them. They know that when they enter the location, they can just block 2 sides and no one can escape the location. Now, with that rich history that Galeshewe has, it was in this location that Mayibuye happened in 1952. There's the memorial. I thought maybe our tour was going to start from that side, maybe coming this way. Can we do that?
Yes, please. Can
Sure.
I ask a question?
Sure. Oh, by the way, yes, I'm a storyteller, so okay, I'm gonna do a lot of talking, but I'm gonna still allow you chance to ask questions because, as my students or my learners,
Yes.
I want you to learn. You leave Kimberley or you leave Galeshewe having learned something. So please ask questions, Mama.
Why does since Princess Dipuo said the granddaughter of King Galeshewe, where he belongs to SARCO, South African Royal Kingdoms Organization.
Okay.
Where does she
Stay.
where does she stay? You know it.
Dipuo Peters.
I don't know the surname, but I have seen her on media. She is the granddaughter of King Galeshewe, and she's holding a very powerful, in that organization of SARCO, South African Royal Kingdoms, something organization, things like that. Yes.
Oh, remember, Mama, Galeshewe, or should I say the Northern Cape? It's Galeshewe's. It's the land of the Batlaping. Galeshewe was also king of the Batlaping. Now his seat of power, he established his seat of power there in Taung. I mean, in Pokwan, that side of Pampirstad. So it was not here. So he's been there. So probably the descendants, they would also be that side. But here, there's no living relatives of Kosi Galeshewe, to be honest.
Yes, I would request your contact details. My cousin brother, whose father is brother to my father, is a historian in Tababusi, which is
I know Tawabusu, yes.
Yes. The first. So my brother is a historian like you. He's always invited by universities like Boston and Bothway to go and give them the history about the Tababusi. The Tababusi, that's where Tsepo Sula was buried and Malema was there at that funeral. So I want to connect, you are, like-minded people must go together, not so.
I'll appreciate it. I'll appreciate it, Mama. Just as you connected us to the world.
Mr. Molebu Miwa, with a very small voice. It's just a pity my phone needs to be recharged. I will be giving you with his phone number now.
Do you need a charger?
Yeah, if you can give me a charger, you shall have done me the greatest favor ever. So I will connect you before I sleep.
Check it out, Mama.
Yeah,
Charger
please
it.
give me a charger
Type, Mom.
that I don't know, I'm a BBT.
Okay.
Just that.
No, you'll sort it out.
Let him bring those chargers.
What charger?
No.
He'll charge it inside.
I will charge it where I am, and then keep.
No, we're gonna walk. He's charging it so long.
No.
Oh,
I won't
okay.
leave my phone with
With a stranger.
I am old, but I'm.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Karina we don't have those mobile chargers.
Are we together? We are also together. Yes.
I cannot leave my phone with a stranger.
But you can leave your phone.
Let's go to the other side, that side. Sisi Ninja. I call him Thomas. Sisi?
Thanks for the lesson.
There's more.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
You're gonna go in deep with Sabukani?
So I'm Pan-Africanist. There's no way I can leave him behind. I always make sure when you visit Galeshewe, you leave Galeshewe here with Sobukwe in mind. You can forget about the rest, but Sobukwe should always be in your mind.
You don't have enough information on him.
You know, I'm so pissed because most of the people think that the Sobukwe story ends in Robben Island. But I'm busy packaging a tour. I call it in the footsteps of Sobukwe, where we'll be
God, they came
touring.
here after Rhabe and Sanduza, ne?
He was banished
And
here.
he actually died. Oh, he was banished.
He even died here.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, he even died here. Yeah, in Kimberley, we've got the hospital where he died. We've got the house where he stayed. We've got his own office. We've got the office where he practiced his articles at. You know, we've got the church that he attended. So why not brand our tourism, our cultural tourism as a Sobukwe, maybe around Sobu.
Is there anything even named after him here? Because I haven't heard anything.
We are busy as native minds to work on a project to have a statue of Sobukwe erected here in Galeshewe.
Yes.
Because nowhere else, there's no statue of Sobukwe anywhere else. Oh, I thought the crowd was coming.
Unbelievable. They missed the memo. It's because people haven't eaten, so the energy levels
The energy levels are down.
yeah. Now they're just standing there.
Let me first then. You think they are tired?
I think they're tired.
Where are we going? Where are we going? Just here.
No, Baland, because we're here already.
Hey. Guys, sorry. We are waiting because of you. Kent. Kagisho Kieo Asisi. Thank you.
So we're, oh yeah, you're gonna tell us anyway.
Yeah, let's come here. I'm a tourist guide, ne? But at the same time, I'm a researcher. I research.
Nice. And the tourist guide.
According to tourist guiding, I'm not supposed to be sharing some certain kind of information with you guys. You know, like maybe political statements and whatever. You know, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm supposed to be promoting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, I mean, the course itself, tourist guiding, was designed by these very same people. They are the ones telling us how to do this thing. When they first came here, we took them around. We showed them around. It was tourist guiding. And we told them everything. But today they want to restrict us as to what to say and what not to say. You know? So you'll forgive me for today. I'm gonna take off my tourist guiding cap off and just tell it like it is.
You want it
So please, can you guys stand this side so that I can stand aside. Please be in the sun. You need that energy. Okay, like I already said, Galeshewe is one of the oldest surviving designated native locations in South Africa. Mind you, when we walk the streets of Kimberley, we think, oh, I forgot, I forgot I have a mic. Sorry. When we walk the streets of Kimberley, we're walking where the greats have walked. Your Cecil John Rhodes, your Bani Banato, your Baron Rothschild. Now, the very thought of those guys should send shivers on your bones, because we know what kind of people those were. I mean, Cecil John Rhodes' brother, they were actually placed. They were digging still on the Vaal. They were looking for alluvial diamonds. That was before diamonds could be found in what we call Vooruitsig. They were still that side of Griquastad. They were digging. They were mining alluvial diamonds that side, because by then Kgosi Luka Janki had already sent a proclamation that his father's land shouldn't be dug by picks and shovels, because diamonds were plenty. You could find them on alluvial ground. So no one should be digging that side. But then with the rains failing to fall, diamonds became a little bit scarce. And that's when these buggers started to dig. They dug, and that information came to Kgosi Luka Janki that these white farmers are digging your father's land. So he went, he chased after them. They left that side and came down this side to the dry diggings to dig this side. That time Cecil John Rhodes was not even here yet, because Cecil John Rhodes was an agent of the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. He was sent here by the Queen to come and amalgamate and unify all these diamond mines to form a cartel. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. Cecil John Rhodes came here. We were told that Cecil John Rhodes was sickly, mimic, came here because of the weather, the climate here, the South African climate was conducive for his health. So he came here, he came to visit his brother, and along the way did some mere jobs up until he got himself a contract to pump the water out of the mines. Bullshit. Bullshit, because this guy came here with an exact reason. He came here to conquer, because of diamonds were already being discovered now here, as they say they have been discovered. But we know that it's an old discovery, because our grandparents, they were dealing with these things. The only problem is that they never attached any monetary value to these stones, because it was sentimental stones. It had sentimental value to them. When we were doing our research around Galeshewe, because we were commissioned in 2010 by the Solplaiki municipality to conduct a research and document the oral history of Galeshewe, we came across this old woman whom we interviewed. She was 92 by then. She has left. She has passed on now. She was 92 years old. She was telling her that during their time, when they were young, they were told by the granny of one of their friends that when they were young, they used to see Cecil John Rhodes them on horseback coming into Galeshewe Because during those times, these houses were round and they were made of clay bricks, you know. So while later you smear some cow dung and mud onto the walls to make them more stronger. During that time now, you put in some diamonds into the walls of the house. Well, I don't know. Perhaps it would beautify when the sun shines onto the house. It would beautify the house. Perhaps it's to spell away the evil from the house. You know, sentimental value to us. But it's not something that white people would understand. It is within us. Our parents would carry a bag full of diamonds in the house because it had it had no monetary value. But it was something that is sentimental to them and to us because these diamonds are from the ground. And when we walk these grounds, we become rooted into these grounds through all that is in the ground. They were there for a purpose. So when they came here and dug these holes, they were actually disturbing our heritage. They were definitely disturbing our heritage. Hence today we find ourselves being in the position that we are today, not knowing whether we are coming or going.
Yeah.
Now, the very same Cecil John Rosedale, we're talking, okay, as they call themselves, the Illuminati. They are the enlightened ones. We are the dark ones. They're ones in the dark. So they know what we don't know because of what they did to us. They have hidden the truth away from us, hence we don't know the truth, and they do. I mean, these guys, they are the ones that, Cecil John Rosas is the ones that the one that created the Kimberley Club. The Kimberley Club was a club.
My question is simply because I want us to ask the question is that we know that the political system has failed to reclaim what we have lost, right? And you are now telling us the rich history of what happened here. Now, my question is, how do we then make sure that this kind of information that you know, we protect it and transmit it to the next coming generation? Because we know that the generation of the Mandela or before Mandela or the ones who's in parliament, they failed the current generation. But the question is, what are we doing to prepare these young stars, these one who are coming after us? What is it that we're doing? Because we cannot keep hearing this information and we go home and we do nothing about it. It should bother us, the fact that we keep hearing this. We now know the brutality of the white monopoly capital, what they've done to us.
Sure.
And we cannot continue to let things go as normal as it is right now. So my question is, until when should we let things continue as if they are normal? We know, we've read that the likes of Robert Sobukwe, they fought for that, you know, and they kept on reminding us that let's bring back the Africa because the land has our identity in our DNA. And that's where our land is. That's where our resource is. That's everything that we have become. That lies in the land. And you took the land, you've taken everything of us. Then the question comes to you, says, you are sharing so much information. What do we do, personality in Asla, to preserve this information and make it sure that we pass it on to the right generation? We are not concerned about the ones who are running at the government because they are going to die this one. And they failed us. But what are we doing for the next coming generation? And in particular, also saving you.
Okay, if we are to accept if we are to accept that history is biased, then all biases should be represented then. So that if we as Africans are not going to stand up to this and say no more, because it is about time that this history should attain its necessary space in library shelves. Hence, you know, I took it upon me. It does not even have to be connected with money or anything. I took it upon myself that I'm gonna correct the era of our race, because this is an era that our parents has committed against us, and we are committing it against our kids. So I'm gonna correct this error. I'm gonna tell this story to each and everyone that passes Galeshewe or that stays in Galeshewe. Hence, I've got programs that I run there at the center where I do storytelling for the kids. I try to make sure that their memory should remain a weapon for them to fight against this very same system that has kept us bound up until today. It's my contribution to the African communities. I mean, I could have done more, and I'm still prepared to do more. Hence, Paseta won't go by with me outside. I'm in.
So why we can?
Okay. Now I'm sorry, Mama.
I
Yes.
wanted to add on, if I'm permitted, of course.
Oh, okay.
How many of you guys know that Rockefeller Foundation is one of the richest?
Thanks.
You can Google it now just to bear me witness. It's one of the richest foundations in the world. It is a research foundation, Rockefeller Foundation. Just Google it now and you just bear me witness. Yeah, it's more than Bill and Melinda Gates. What have you? Rockefeller Foundation is one of the richest foundations in the world.
It's actually the one that is responsible for.
I'm shocked.
It is the Rockefeller Foundation that is responsible for your COVID-19.
Yes.
But anyway, we all know that vaccines never worked for black people. They were not aimed at alleviating or solving a problem. They were aimed at creating a problem.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so that same spirit, or should I say, because white people don't have spirit, that same soul that is in these people, translated then to the black child. That's where your soul plighty comes in. That's where your soul plighty comes in. The ANC was never an organization for black people. The ANC was created by white people. It stands for white interests, but it is run by black people. That's the ANC. It all started here, because everything was here.
It's Marikana here.
No, Marikana is not here. No, but what I'm trying to tell you, Mama, is that before even the discovery of gold, there were diamonds. The diamonds that were mined from this hole are the ones that built the economy of Gauteng,
Yes.
that built the economy of Europe. So all that, the idea and everything started here. Sol Plaatje was a mere agent. Hence, the ANC later had to discard because before the ANC, it was a native congress.
Yes.
And that same native congress went on two deputations to England to go and meet the Queen. Theirs was to lament the plight of the Africans. By then, they had a Pan-Africanist agenda. It was a Pan-Africanist agenda. But then later on, they had to discard the other native word. Then it became the ANC. with no Pan-Africanism in it. Hence, the Pan-Africanists had to leave Robert Sobukwe. Hence, he had to leave because he saw now that this organization has become something else. But it had started already with their forefathers, the Solplaikis, the Pixley Kaseme. If you read the land is ours correctly, you'll see that this fucking thing was a drug addict. Yes, he was a drug addict. I mean, no, Pixley. No, I mean, Pixley was staying here. Next month you come, you visit here. He's not here. He's there because he left here owing rent. Only a drug addict can be like that. He was on bursary, which catered for everything. But anyway, like I said, all that rubbed off onto these guys. Hence, Solplaiki, it is even written on his grave today. He is the founder of the Brotherhood movement here in South Africa, in Africa. What is the Brotherhood movement? What do we know of the Brotherhood movement? That he got when he was on the second deputation when they left for England. Because when the rest of the guys came back, he stayed in England for a year. For a year. So the ANC, they can't say the ANC was infiltrated. It was not infiltrated. It was created for this matter. Hence, we as Pan-Africanists, we cannot involve ourselves in a game that was created for our own demise. Politics was a game that was created for our demise. Now we become members of political parties and stay divided. You MK and you EFF and you DA, you cannot agree on one single thing. How is that? Because divided, you remain weak and you are easy to be conquered. All these political parties, all of them are funded by these white guys, the oligarchy. Hence, we can't, of course, right here opposite was a polyclinic. It was opened by Sir Harry Oppenheimer. It was burned in 1952. There was a polyclinic here. It was a clinic for polio to vaccinate black kids. Yes. They knew what they were doing. You and I don't know. They knew what they were doing. I mean, small as this location is, 5 beer halls were created in this location. 5. Breaking down family lives of these black people. My lord.
Thank you very much. I don't know, maybe I will take you back. I was just so touched with the script that you studied on speak about the time. Well, that's something that is very difficult to understand. Because even myself in times I always ask who experience, you understand? I don't know how our fathers you understand? Because they say there is a stone and you need to treat it with fire and then you crash. So when you were talking about diamonds, I was just listening very carefully. I don't know if you can take everyone backwards. Just to continue from there because it was coming just so nice. I don't know.
When I was saying what about diamonds making?
Yes, the diamonds in the hearts. In the waterfalls. To understand how our ancestors used to. Yeah, I think you were.
This granny, about this granny. This granny was telling us a story. He was saying Cecil John Rose them used to come into Galeshewe on horseback.
Yes.
And okay, maybe by then you would find now the ground on the walls of these houses has dried up. But they would get their daggers and they would pull them out. You know? But I mean, it's the same as being told that apartheid began in 1948. with the Nationalist Party. That's when the Nationalist Party came into power. Before the Nationalist Party, there was already an administration, an English administration, a white administration. Our enemy is not the Afrikaner. Our enemy is this unseen one, the unseen hand, the English. I mean, in 1976, students rose up and said, we say no to Afrikaans. But why did they choose English on top of vernacular? Because this was an English program. These kids that died were only but just sacrifices of victims. But this was not our war. It was a war between English and Afrikaans. It was a war between English and Afrikaans. You know? So whenever where there's a white man, there cannot be deception. There is always deception where there's a white man. Because he is that one that would smile at you, kiss you on the cheek, but on the other side, he's whooping your ass off.
Yeah.
You know? So, yes, my king.
I'm sorry, take you back a bit again to the history. So you said, was it Fosi Galeshewe who chased them when they were digging diamonds and then they moved somewhere else? You said
No, Kosi Luka Janki.
Oh, Janki.
Yes.
I wanted to check, in terms of military strength, how was he standing, Fosi Janki? And how did we lose them? I'm always curious about that. How did we lose? And what was our military power at the time? Because I mean, it's from what I'm hearing, John Rhodes and them individuals coming in, they don't necessarily have military at the time, I imagine. Yes. So I'm just trying to understand how did we get into it?
I don't think I have the correct answer, né? But I'll try and just explain as to how I see things maybe could have unfolded.
Yes.
1652, when Jan van Riebeeck arrived here, né? Mind you, we are told that Jan van Riebeeck arrived here because they were en route to India to go and purchase spices. But I mean, then they had to look for a halfway station. That's when they landed at the Cape. But when you research Jan van Riebeeck and you research the Dutch East Indian Company, you find a different story. You know, you find that in 1651, Jan van Riebeeck left Holland on the 24th of December on a Christmas Eve. He left because he was on the employ of the Dutch East Indian Company as a commander of these 3 ships. New 3 ships that have just been bought, specifically designed to carry slaves, because the Dutch East Indian Company was a slave company. It made its money out of slavery. These spices that they would carry was just an add-on. You know, they were a slave company. But it's no surprise, because in 1692, who's this? Christopher Columbus, did the same to the Americas. He also arrived there in 3 ships. Same program, same methodology. The Penta, the Nina, the Santa Maria. He arrived there in those 3 ships. The reason being to colonize the Americans. 1652, 3 years later, Jan van Riebeeck arrives here, same agenda to colonize. Now, unfortunately or fortunately for them, they never arrived here with women. So, hey, amongst these ones, the ones that are available. But they're only the offspring thereof. Now, the mothers are okay with the offsprings, but the fathers despise the offsprings because they are not of pure blood, So what they do, they capture these very same offsprings and they sell them out. They sell them out as slaves outside. These offsprings now run away. Those are the ones that we call the Griquas today. The Griquas. They run away only to find themselves they are in Kosi Lukajanki's land. But being an African Lukajanki is pitiful. They are my sister's children. Let me give them a place to stay. So he gives them a place to stay at Klaarwater, what we call today Griquastad, because they had to rename this through the influence of these ones now, the men of the cloth, the missionaries. Agree, you were asking me as to how did we lose it. We didn't have to lose it all through the barrel of a gun or through gunpowder. Some of it had to be psychological, and that's how they played us. These very same missionaries, they were sent here by their respective countries, and they came here with a mission as they were missionaries. Yeah. And they came with a mission. They are missionaries. So their mission was to act as a go-betweener between the enemy and the state. So they would, as a go-betweener, they would act as if they are talking for this one that we are robbing, but actually they are working for this one, the robber.
Good cop, bad cop.
They are working for the robber. So, I mean, because they even acted as interpreters. Now, when these same missionaries converted these black people became now convinced that no, man, the way of the Lord is the way to go. But didn't we know God before they came? Didn't God know us? So, now why leave the one who knew us and take the one that doesn't even know us? We never converged in a building to say that we are praying to God, but we spoke to this guy through our own intuition. We are spiritual people. We are the only people that has got God's spirit in us. Yeah, sure. We melanated people, we are the only people. White people don't have spirit. Because spirit controls your conscience. Spirit controls your conscience. Soul controls your will, your emotions. Hence, they have to go, in order to make us believe in God, they have to create a God that is not there. It has to be intellectualized. You need to imagine this. But with us, God is in us and He speaks to us. He can tell you now that don't even turn here. But because of your intelligence, you tell me, it's a shortcut. Yeah. It's a shortcut. Because of intelligence. And you get hurt because of a shortcut. Because you didn't want to hear the voice in you speaking to you. So somehow, that's how we lost it, my Lord. I'm not sure if I've answered you. Okay. Can we go to the...
So what was happening here?
Oh, by the way, sorry, sorry. Now, this here is the Abantu Batu Hall. Ne? This hall, in 1901, that very same Saul Plaiki made his last speech in this hall before he went to die in Pimville. Ne? It's one of our historical buildings. This hall was not like this. This hall, okay, the Kimberley municipality, like for instance, was running a mine just down here. It's an asbestos mine, not asbestos. What's this big stone? Dolomite. It's a dolomite mine. That dolomite is the one that built what we call Transvaal Road, the tar road of Transvaal Road. But all the benefits that came out of all that never went back for it to be invested in Galeshewe. The wealth that was generated out of your mind, we black people never owned land, and we were barred from owning land. So municipality was the one that was building houses for us and renting them out. So you were actually renting this house. That's why when your father came back home and didn't pay rent, you'll find all your belongings outside, me inside. Because it was not his. Baban. So now, that's all. The community saw that the municipality was not doing anything for them. So they started your grandparent bringing 3 corrugated sheets, mine bringing bulks. Then they built themselves a hall, a place for themselves to converge. That hall was burnt down, and then they built another one which was burnt down in 1952. And
Why
then the
was it burnt down?
Sorry?
Why was it burnt down?
No, it was burnt down in 1952 as part of the protest.
Oh.
The Mayibuye protest. Ne. So the government then built this one. It is on these walls that we tell stories. Like there, we tell the story of Saul Plaiki when he made his last speech on this wall, in this hall. Here on this other side, we're telling the story of the Mayibuye Massacre that happened. I'll tell you more about the Mayibuye when we get to the Mayibuye Uprising. Now, that on that other side, we've got Francis Bart, we've got Khosi Galeshewe. By the way, we're talking too much about Mayibuye and what do we know Galeshewe? Who Galeshewe was?
No.
Okay, but are there any questions regarding what I've just said, Mayibuye, the hall, and everything, before we touch on Galeshewe?
The massacre.
Okay. Khosi Galeshewe, this township is called Galeshewe. Before it was called Galeshewe, it was called location number 2.
Yeah.
Ne? It was only renamed later when the residents of this of this location requested that this location be renamed Galeshewe to honor the late Galeshewe, Khosi Galeshewe, the Batrapping king that was killed by these white people. That request was then accepted, and then location number 2 became Galeshewe. But Galeshewe, as it is today, is one of the first as well. It is here in Galeshewe where we had the first in the country, the first kindergarten. Hey, these trees, but the kindergarten is just here where these trees are. It's the first kindergarten for black kids in the country. Reason being, white people, because of they needed our mothers to look after their kids in their homes. Our kids, we now should be cared for by other mothers in the kindergarten. And like I said, yeah, we had what we call the polyclinic. It was also burnt down during the 1952 Mayibuye Uprising. Ne? The idea was to structure this community for what it is today. Today we've got drunkards in Galeshewe, we've got alcoholics, we've got all sorts of ills. And mind you, it's not by accident, it was created that way. And who's actually advancing this idea? The very same organizations that we belong to, because their members are part of the program. They are advancing this program. Hence, you see today that our government is passing laws that are not even suitable for us. But we say yes because we voted for them. So, okay. So Galeshewe is a king of... No, Galeshewe, when these people came in, they created a problem for Kgosi Galeshewe, and Kgosi Galeshewe had no other way. He had to stand up and fight. So he's actually killed for fighting white people for encroachment, because white people were encroaching on his land. White people were forcefully taking his land and transforming his subjects to be theirs. Cecil John Rhodes, when he created the De Beers now, he also created what we call a compound. CBC compound. Now in a compound, note the psychology here. You've got a bunch of males all confined into one space, old and new, and you create a shower from that point to this point where they can all stand naked and wash. 4 months, mama, thereafter, this young boy looks like a lady to you. Hey. You've been looking at his ass and you're thinking, this is a nice young one. Because you've been in this compound for quite some time now without contact to a lady. You are not allowed any visitations here in the compound, because the Beers wants to secure their diamonds. So sodomy begins there in these compounds. So to date, we've got people like gays, lesbians, and the media is even telling us that you need to accept these people. But we all know that our God does not make a mistake. Our God will never create a woman inside a man's body. Someone someone must have done something to these human beings, man. So we are not safe. We must guard against white people. I'm surprised that Sobukwe had a white friend. I'm surprised that Stephen Bantu Biko had a white friend. I'm not surprised that Mandela has a white friend, because they are their friends. But how can Steve Biko and Sobukwe have white friends? Journalists, for that matter. Journalists' friends. And I can tell you, Mama, now that these were not just journalists. They were actually investigating these guys. Sobukwe would hide something from me, but he would tell it to his friend, Benjamin Pokran, as a friend.
And I wonder, I'm sorry, how many of you know that Sobukwe was the most feared than Mandela?
We'll get to that when we get there.
I have been to Robben Island
Yo.
myself, and the tour guide told us, I have seen the house where Sobukwe was sleeping.
Yeah.
And then the boys, Abamufuka, the sacred. That is why he died of
Cancer.
Cancer of the lungs. Now, how many of you knew that Sobukwe was feared more than Mandela?
Mandela was never feared. But anyway, are there any questions? Can we go to the Mayibuye Museum?
It's not breaking because
Is it also true that Robert Sobukwe is the one who recruited Mandela
to
to politics?
No, they were all in politics. They were all members of the ANC Youth League.
Yeah, but remember that Robert Sobukwe, this is what I hate, but he was the PAC side.
Yeah. No, before Sobukwe became a member of the PAC, Sobukwe was a member of the ANC Youth League.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a member of the ANC Youth League. The ANC Youth League was his first organization, actually.
Is it true that it was Robert Sobukwe who convinced Mandela that the approach in the sense of us going forth, let's do like this? I'm told that it was Robert Sobukwe influenced.
Yes, no, not influenced, advised.
Advised,
yes, advised. But I don't. Or you are already promised money. You're not going to heed my advice.
So in a nutshell, you are saying also Robert who failed us.
So no,
he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
No, I'm saying he couldn't convince Mandela because Mandela already had money now. He's been offered money. He's been showered with money.
But with the issue
the communists.
Okay, as you were saying, like they had friends, and you said, okay, these white friends were journalists, right? This is what you said.
Mm.
And how did they have an access to him while the black people were there? Why
Exactly. Exactly. He's working for us. We create an environment suitable for him as white people, as a police. We allow him access because we know that tonight he's going to report back on the activities of the day. I met Sobukwe. He says what. He says what. We'll talk about Sobukwe a lot. Ask me more. Sorry. Right, sorry. Batung, guys, come this way, please. Guys, can you please come nearer?
Let's come close, guys. Let's come close.
Please, man. Okay, please come closer. Amanda. Now, normally, Amanda, when we say Amanda, we show unity. And that unity, we signify it with a clenched fist as Africans that we're united as we are one form, which is a clenched fist. But then united as we are, we can take Africa back to its rightful owners. So Mayibuye, yeah, Africa. Mayibuye, yeah. I'm saying Mayibuye. You look at my thumb, you see it's pointing backwards. That one, the message is lost. That's not Mayibuye. That one is pointing upwards. That one signifies that things are okay now. Things are okay now. Are things okay? Things can never be okay. Things can never be okay so long as we keep quiet and stand still as we do. Up until we stand up and correct these mistakes, then the truth will be hidden. Remember I said Jan van Riebeeck arrived here in 1652. Mayibuye happened 1952. 1652, fast forward 300 years, 1952. Am I correct? Because the government, the apartheid government, wanted to celebrate the coming of the three ships in 1952. The 300 years of the coming of the three ships. They wanted to call that festival the Van Riebeeck's Festival. And they wanted black people to be participants in that festival, because their participation would then signify that black people have accepted defeat. Black people have accepted defeat. The white man is here and the white man is going nowhere. The ANC saw that, and together with the Indian Congress, they formulated a campaign called the Mayibuye campaign to defy those apartheid laws, because of a build up to that to this festival. The government was entrenching these administrative laws, these repressive laws, ensuring that they are intact and they are strengthened. So the ANC and the Indian Congress, they said, Mayibuye Africa, because we as a unity, we must take Africa back to its rightful owners, because this that is being done to us is not fair. Believe you me, if I was there, I would have participated, because I saw it as a just cause. I would have seen it as a just cause. Alas, it was not even these people. I can tell you today, just like those ones in 1976, they all died in vain. Because, like I said, in reality, probably these organizations do not even exist. This is just a hoax. We are being turned into political organizations to think that at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Things will get right. Nothing's going to come right here, up until we open our eyes to see it for what it is. Because these people's lives were sacrificed by these very same Illuminatis in 1952. When we conducted our research around Galeshewe here, most of the residents of Galeshewe told us that these people were not even our leaders. The leadership of the ANC during that time in 1952, it comprised of men of the cloth and exactly businessmen. When your granddaddy was not even able to sell peanuts in front of the yard, they were owning businesses already, because they were in favor of these people, our oppressors. So they led our people to be killed. 13 people lost their lives because the government, the police came in under these guys and shot at everyone. All of these victims were actually shot at the back, in their backs. A bullet hit a baby and penetrated the mother, killing them both. Never reported on the newspaper. The ANC was the custodian of this program. But up until today, you'll never hear the president even saying a word about Mayibuye. But they know that they sacrificed our people. Today, this monument stands, look at how it looks. But you go and see the European monuments better than these. So when we celebrate these European holidays that we celebrate here, we must ask ourselves as to whose victory are we actually celebrating? Because it looks like we are celebrating somebody else's history above our history. Our own enemy's history. These people were buried at the cemetery here, in Western Cemetery. But where are their descendants today? Are they enjoying the benefits? No, the comrades are. The comrades are enjoying these benefits. Look at Galeshewe today. DBS has not even paid a cent for all the diamonds that he took out of our land. But we are quiet because our leaders do not allow us to say anything. Unless you want to get killed like me. Because I surely want to die. Because I want to come back more stronger. Because the African never dies. We've got God's spirit in us, and that spirit never dies. Yes, the body might lapse, but the spirit will keep on living. So don't be afraid of death. Don't be threatened of death. Death is never part of our subject. Because we know we need to die in order for us to live. You need to die. Just like a tree, you need to cut it, to prune it, for it to grow. That's who we are. Other questions?
Yes.
Please.
On that last point,
I think you are hitting the nail on the head. I don't know what you think, but my view is a lot of the reason why we don't resist is the fear of injury, pain, or death.
Hmm.
Am I correct?
Yes, you are right.
And I'm good.
That fear is being instilled in us. And that very same fear, you find it also in the Bible. It's told in the Bible. It's being said as if it's something that needs to be there. We never fear death. We welcome death because we knew death is a part of life. We need to die in order for us to live. We are fossils. We've been here since the beginning of time. Your beginning doesn't even start now. You've been here. That's who we are. Our bones are scattered all over this planet. Are we done? Are there any other questions? Can we go to Sobukwe? The keys. Yes, yes. What a useless municipality, Lord. Yes, yes. A useless municipality. Solely because of we don't have leaders, we have dealers.
You see now, this awakening is scared of nothing. You see, people will see that if we act outside politics, emancipation is going to happen.
Sure, definitely. No, we are not going. We'll be going from here. Maybe you can come inside so that you guys can sit and relax a bit. Little ones, a re kgona go adimaela room e lo tla tsena gape no re ka tlela go tsenya bagolo lo tla tsena ga buta ke ntse ke ba emisitse ka dinao yaanong mood wa lapile yaanong klik vir my ander stoele daarso asseblief. Please come in and relax a bit, man. Chaos. Oh, I get that already. Sorry. Sorry, Mickey. Please, you can sit anywhere. We are home. In fact, when we are here, you have actually stepped on where Sobukwe have stepped. So feel free to be here. Sorry. What's Sobukwe? Mama, you are most welcomed. That's why I'm saying that you should allow yourself to be free. What's happening? Okay. Sisi? Usiame. Sorry, yeah. You need one. There's one there, my king. West. Right. I want can make this dulu dingwe gape na ba. Net so 3-4. Ke di demonstrate. Okay. Now that we are here, I wouldn't like to formalize this, but I would like to make it an informal discussion so that we can all get out of here having a clear understanding of Robert Sobukwe, his role, what he stood for, and we as Paseta taking the very same idea forward. Is that okay? Hey, thanks. Can I sit? When are you sure you'll be okay? Because I want to sit here and face the crowd.
Let me go that side.
Sure.
As long as my camera can be placed right down here.
There's an extra chair. Okay. But please come in. Whoever is outside. Bukut, can you ask whoever is outside to come? Please come in so that we can all. Maybe they would also like to ask questions. Okay, but anyway, hey, this is the office that used to be occupied by Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe as a lawyer in Galeshewe, Kimberley. The office is currently being occupied by the Galeshewe Youth Network, which is a network of youth coming together with different expertise. I'm a part of the network where we teach learners how to paint, how to draw. We give poetry sessions. We do storytelling. There's a lot. We like around the closure of the schools. We always have programs for kids. We teach them how to cycle because we've got a canteen full of bicycles there. We teach them how to cycle. We teach them the rules of the road, and we take them on guided tours on bicycles around the township, promoting our story because only us can write our story. Normally, I'm asked as to, yeah, but can't a white person tell your story? It's not possible that a white person can tell my story because history is not just a story written about dates, and it's got emotions in it. It's got feelings in it. So there's no way a white person can interpret my story. So it becomes important then for me to write my story so that my story can then resonate with my people. These stories we hear today does not even resonate with us because they are not our stories. But I can tell you, we are Marxists today, we are Leninists, but we fail to recognize our own. The Marcus Garveys, the Sobukwes, the Julius Nyereres, they were there. They are one of our own. Why can't we talk about them? But anyway, Sobukwe grew up in Graafrenet in the Eastern Cape, in a place called Kwa Umasizake. Yeah, like any other location or township, even better where yet theirs were more rural. There was no even secondary school there. So he attended lower primary there, higher primary, but when the time came for him to go to to get his secondary education, he had to sit home for 2 years because there's no secondary education here. Eventually, after 2 years, he went to Hilton, where he studied, and then when he got to matric, he got TB, which actually hospitalized him. But even after the hospital, he came out there. and got what we would call a distinction pass in matric. Then he went to university. That's where he met the likes of Nelson Mandela, Sisulu. They became friends, became part of the ANC Youth League. So Robert Sobukwe, yes, was a member of the Youth League. When the Youth League was engaged in its programs, Robert Sobukwe was also there. Mind you, at the university, Robert Sobukwe did exceptionally well. He was unanimously elected by the students to become the SRC president. So you could see already by then, you could see the leadership qualities springing out of this guy. When they were members of the ANC Youth League, he even told his brothers that, Norman, why does it look like our struggle is being dictated by those guys that are educated from abroad? He was thinking, I think he was referring to the very same Pixley Kaseme them and all these Bumangena them that came from abroad. But then at that time, mind you, in as much as Saul Plaatje, like I said, was a brother, he is the founding father of the Brotherhood movement. But you can see the brothers, you see them with a line. That line that you see these guys having was not a fashion statement. It was not a haircut. It distinguished between the brothers and those who are not brothers. Because not everyone was in the Brotherhood movement. Saul Plaatje had it. Pixley Kaseme had it. Tambo didn't have it. Luthuli had it. So it already tells you who of these guys is actually with the system. So Sobukwe saw this and he decided, together with the other Pan-Africanists, they decided that we are not going to associate ourselves with this filth, because that was filth. Conniving with the enemy is filth. It's tantamount to treason. You know? So he left the ANC and formed what he called the PAC, with clear principles. And you could see even with the documents of this organization that this organization is a disciplined organization. It represents the interests of the masses, not a document that even the president does not even know about, the Freedom Charter, because the president of the of the ANC, truly back then, did not even know about the Freedom Charter. Yes, you read his book, Let My People Go. He tells you that I didn't know about this document. This document was only presented to me later. So the story of people going around in Kliptown collecting demands is just a bullshit story then. Because, I mean, the president does not even know about such program. This document came about through the communists when they became now, because mind you, the ANC, when it discarded the native word, it was actually opening up, because the ANC was saying that it's an African Native National Congress organization. So it could only be for native membership. But then when they discarded the native word, they opened up the ANC now for everybody's membership. Even the enemy can now come in, you know. So it became the ANC, no more native. It does not even represent natives only now. It represents everyone. So hence the Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter was a charter that was drafted based on how South Africa should be governed after the ANC has taken over. And that's the document that, according to propaganda, we are told that its demands were collected in Cape Town. So Sobukwe, 6 months after he had left the ANC to form the PAC, 6 months thereafter, the ANC, the PAC, together with all the other organizations, were banned. Why? Because Sobukwe has asked people to hand themselves over at police stations. Leave your passes at home and hand yourself over at any police station for arrest, because we are tired of carrying this shit. No, they were tired of carrying this shit. And Sobukwe felt it. He saw that his people are the ones that are suffering. So he became, the PAC then came up with a program of action that we are going, because the ANC has already discarded this program of action. It was a program of action of the ANC. But because the ANC is in cahoots with the enemy, there is no way they can, well, how can I say it? They can exercise this program. So the ANC took that program over. Robert Sobukwe said, we are not going to carry our passes. Instead of these people stopping you and asking for your pass, tell them that I don't have a pass. I came here to actually hand myself over for arrest. At the back of his mind, he knew that we are going to fill these police stations. We are going to fill these prisons, but they won't be able to hold us all. So there won't be space for anyone else to come in. Those that are left outside will continue with this struggle. And he did not even say that standing backwards. He led by example, because on that day, he woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and walked. He did not say, no, I'm going to fetch King so that we walk together. No, King will fetch him, we'll find him on the way if King is coming. But he was going. And when they got there, yes, he was arrested. And unluckily for him, ever since he left his home that day, he never came back. Because that's when he was detained now. He was arrested, charged, tried, found guilty for incitement, and sentenced for 3 years in Robben Island. Because the government felt that Robert Sobukwe was too much. He had this charisma, he had this energy that could unite people, bring people together. I mean, 6 months only after it was formed, the PAC was already growing in numbers. So the government kept him. They held him in Robben. They actually sentenced him to go and serve his term at the fort. But then that same night when he was at the fort, the government agencies came, stole him, and flew him to Robben Island, secretly so. 3 years passed. Robert Sobukwe was not released. He remains, even today, he remains the only guy in this country, or even anywhere, where Parliament had to sit and craft a law only to govern him, called the Sobukwe Clause. Now, according to the Sobukwe Clause stipulated that Sobukwe was not allowed to be quoted. Sobukwe could not attend public gatherings. Sobukwe could not be seen in the company of more than one person. If that is not torture, then I don't know what it is. But the Mandelas also were also rounded up, and they were also arrested. The only problem with the Mandelas and Sobukwe was that the Mandelas occupied the main prison, because the government didn't even care about them. But they cared about this one, because this one was an enemy of the state. Hence, when the Minister of Security, Mr. Foster, was asked, why do you have so many political prisoners in your South African prisons? He said, I know not of any political prisoners but Robert Sobukwe. The rest are criminals. And yes, he was right. You see the criminality today. You see the criminality today. So Sobukwe remains South Africa's only political prisoner. The rest are not political prisoners. They are criminals because they were arrested by the apartheid government. And the apartheid government is the one that sees them as criminals. Sobukwe was not even forced to wear uniform in prison. He wore his own clothes because he's a political prisoner. He was given, the house, should I say the compound that Sobukwe was staying in at Robben Island, it was actually offices of the K9s. You have those correctional services officers who work with dogs, because behind there are dog kennels there. So these were the offices, and the dog kennels are just behind. Those officials had to be removed so that they can make space for Sobukwe. They kept him there. 4 years passed, 5, 6, 7, up until 9 years. Internally, there was uproar to say, "No, man, release Sobukwe. His time has long passed. For his 3 years has long passed. It's been 9 years now, including in Parliament. There was a bit of uproar that no, man, Sobukwe needs to be released. Internationally as well. So the apartheid saw themselves having a problem inside their hands. They had to get rid of this guy. But where do we take him to? Mind you, there's a Sobukwe clause also here, which is being renewed every year. So instead of releasing Sobukwe, the apartheid government spoke to the Kimberley municipality to look for a suitable place for Sobukwe here in Kimberley. Number 6 Naledi Street was seen as an ideal space to imprison Robert Sobukwe, because Sobukwe was never released ever since he was arrested. Instead of releasing him, the apartheid government extended his prison cell to a community here in Galeshewe. Because even here, Sobukwe was given clear instructions as to, you are not supposed to be in the company of 3 people, of more than 1 person. You are to report to a police station every 6 o'clock. The government feared Sobukwe so much that they even refused him to, when he applied for a pass, they refused him a pass, saying that you are going to be more dangerous outside than inside. Inside here, we can at least contain you. So after 9 years, Robert Sobukwe was then transferred from Robben Island to Kimberley, number 6 Naledi Street. We accepted him because he was one of us. Hence, today, we as native minds, including the people of Galeshewe, are campaigning for a statue of Robert Sobukwe in Galeshewe, because we feel that we deserve one. Sobukwe spent 18 years in jail, 9 years in Robben Island, 9 years in Galeshewe. He died here. In fact, we are fortunate because we've got the hospital where he died at. We've got the office where he practiced at. We've got the office where he served his articles at. We've got the house where he stayed at. And we've got the church where he congregated at. Hence, as native minds, we have crafted a festival. Galeshewe, we call it Galeshewe Remembers Robert Sobukwe. And it starts because we want to remember him as a lay preacher, because he was a lay preacher at the Wesleyan Church. So we want to remember him as a lay preacher. We want to have a mass dedicated to Robert Sobukwe, where all church denominations are all going to meet at that stadium, where we have one mass for Robert Sobukwe, in memory of Robert Sobukwe, led by the Wesleyan Church. And all the choirs of these churches and the community choirs can form a mass choir then to perform at the festival. Then we'll have a memorial lecture of Robert Sobukwe the next day. It's a whole week festival where we will be celebrating Pan-Africanism and promoting the story of Robert Sobukwe, because we also want an inquest as to what killed Sobukwe, because we don't even think for a second that he was killed by cancer, as you instructed your doctors to tell us on the autopsy report. Sobukwe confessed to his wife that, I suspect that these people were feeding me crushed glass whilst I was in Robben Island. Why all of a sudden cancer? But we all know that most of our leaders died of cancer, because there's no other way that we can kill them without saying that it was cancer. Sobukwe was loved by the people of Galeshewe, hence the request for a statue. If government does not even listen to us, then we can try and get a statue out of our own. I mean, every cent counts. We can collect a cent from an individual here in Galeshewe. We'll get to R1 million and commission someone to develop a statue for us. 1 cent per person. Sobukwe was loved by the people of Galeshewe, I can tell you that. Because he represented most of the people of Galeshewe for free as a lawyer. There was no way Sobukwe would pass you without even greeting you, whether he knew you, because, mind you, when he was brought here, people were already sensitized that you are not supposed to talk to that guy whom we will be bringing here. Very dangerous. So people were already afraid of this guy. But they would look at him with awe to say, yeah, what a learned man. What has this guy done? I mean, what did he do? They couldn't understand that Sobukwe was actually their savior, because, you know, as Africans, whenever we are in trouble, God always sends a savior to take us out of bondage. But we don't see. We didn't see that Sobukwe was actually sent to us to liberate us. Are there any questions before as we continue? Or is there anyone who wants to share anything? Do I have bathrooms? Yes. Maybe this side, ma'am. Yeah. My king.
The gentleman, our ancestor here, I heard that he was so feared so much that when he was incarcerated in Robben Island, they wouldn't even allow his guards to stay for maybe even 48 hours. They would change him so much. So that because he was so influential.
The government feared Sobukwe, to place Sobukwe with the rest of the prisoners, because they even feared that he might even convince the very same Mandelas. They saw him as the only person who had a cause for which he was fighting. These others didn't know what they were fighting for. You know, yes. Hence, to date, there's nothing being said about this guy, because that same Pan-Africanism ideology had to die. Sobukwe had to die for the ANC to survive. Sobukwe had to die for the ANC to survive. For the ANC to be lying to us today, it is because of the death of Sobukwe. Because he's the one that warned us against these people. Even Mangope warned you. Even Mangope warned you. But you didn't listen. You didn't listen. But today we've got ears. We can hear, we can listen. We are adults. We are adults now. We can make our own decision. We are not going to stand up and go vote. Why are we voting for? What are we voting for? Because the vote will never deliver democracy, not even democracy, because we never fought for democracy. We are fighting for liberation here, not even freedom. We were fighting for liberation. Today we've got democracy and we are comfortable with it. And that's democracy. We all know that it's a lie. It is a lie. But we are comfortable with it. Yes, we are comfortable with it because we still elect, go stand up in queues and vote for these people. We as Pan-Africanists must desist from being political organizations. We have a cause. We have a cause. And our cause is more genuine than this cause. Hey, I would like to hear from you. Okay. You've got nothing to say. So, sure.
That's the one thing. I think you absolutely turned my world on its head. Because, I mean, in my mind, people like Kingsley or Salt Lake, these are thinkers who were sort of trying to liberate us, especially men.
That's what the media has told you.
You remember who
Mandela was not even the people's choice. The media promoted Mandela to be people's choice because they knew what agenda they had with this guy.
I mean, it was negative. You remember Kingsley's speech? What was it was it New York?
Or the speech he made.
The famous one, I forget what it's titled. I mean, I was so. But yeah.
We are living in a world of make believe. We are living in a world of make believe. We make you think that this is the way. Where my grandmother used to tell me, if a white man tells you to run to something, run from it. Honestly, run from it. I mean, we never called our people gays and lesbians. The media told us that these people are gays and lesbians. Today they are saying that we are calling them names.
Yeah.
Yes. They fed these ideas to us that these people are gays. Today they are telling these people now that we are discriminating against them.
Yeah.
So you see, this lesbian cannot meet with this straight, including this gay, because of there's friction between these black brothers and sisters. So divided we are, we remain weak. So in as much as the school is about technology, agriculture, and it must also try to change the narrative as well.
I have to correct it.
We need to change the narrative.
I think of myself as a scholar of academics. I also on these things. I don't think I can teach anyone this. Shoot. I'm gonna confuse the children.
No, we're not going to teach anyone. Our history is in us. I mean, sometimes I would I would watch TV and I would see something happening and I would think, hey, why does it? I was there, Musman. Yeah. When this thing, I was not even watching it on TV. I was there personally. Yes, I'm right because I was there. I keep coming back. I die and I wake up. I die and I wake up. I keep coming back. I'm a fossil. That's who we are. We were there, but now the reality is we can't remember. Memory is lost, but the body is there. So we need to sit, listen to the word of God speaking in us, not from the preacher. I mean, we all know what these people's agendas are. Listen to yourself and you'll hear the word of God speaking in you. In you. Because you've got God's Spirit in you. Now, those who are absent of Spirit has told you that, no, you must think, man, think, use your mind, think. And you don't even need your mind. Because our spirituality is different. It's individualistically unique. You, in order to speak to your God, you need to meditate. She needs to go to the veld and just be alone observe nature perhaps. Me, I need to lie on the ground, do my things. Some of us hit the drum, It's individualistically unique because God is in us and we are gods. Fortunately so, we are gods. They know that we are gods. That's why they're persecuting us. Because they don't want us to resurrect ourselves. So Israelite, the Africa. Africa is for the Africans. And no settler can claim not even an inch of this land. Because this land we never sold. Africans know that this land cannot be sold because it's not even theirs. It's for those yet unborn. We are here to rectify for those who are coming to find this place pashas. That's our duty. We're not here to collect certificates of doctorates and whatever. That's not ours. We are here to fix, my Lord.
With the political parties not being able to help us these days, so what is your take of the current PAC?
I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a PAC, or should I say I'm a Pan-Africanist. But I've stopped being active in the PAC because mine. I only voted in 1994, but after 1994, I saw that this thing is not going to take me anywhere. And if the PAC is going to be part of this thing, this vehicle that was created for our own demise, I can just as well disassociate myself with the activities of the PAC. I mean, you can even see that the humanity, the spirit that used to build the PAC is no more there. The PAC's got only one seat in parliament and everyone is fighting for it. So what kind of leaders are we talking about? Unless we're not talking leaders, we're talking dealers now. Yes. Or misleaders.
We're not talking about that one. Not that homes there.
There's a difference between leaders and dealers. And so we were explained to us what a leader is or what leadership demands from an individual. Okay, are we good? I think I've exhausted most of your time. Can I take you to Sobukwe's house directly from here? There's only one left, Nuyana Mama. Now recently, Dani sees no recently, so there's only one left. Then even the foundation, of which it's just a foundation, man. They would only rise to an opportunity when you want to do something. Then, hey, you didn't notify us. So we belong to us, man. We don't even need to notify you. You are us. We are all together here. But it dictates that. But anyway, yes, there's only one child left. The wife has just passed, and the son. So what's this one? Leon Foundation. But I would like to make. I would like to make a humble request to each and every one of you. I mean, let's take it as our homework. When you get home, sit and think about you being here in this world, and your contribution to rectifying the mistakes that we did, because we did these mistakes. We are our ancestors. This mistake was done by us. So how do we rectify these mistakes? If we are going to build Paseta, then Paseta should be without mistakes. Why is this being built? Let's rectify so that we can fill that school. Let's rectify so that our kids can see the need to be in the school.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, time we are enjoying the story. We are enjoying the wisdom that is being shared. Time is flying. Okay, time is flying. I want us to go to the Subuka house, but time is flying. The big hall is not open the whole day, 24 hours forever. It's past
42 3.
it's 3 now. So I'm afraid we might miss that.
Okay, so let's just pass by Sobukwe's house and go to the big old because our number 2 3. Quarter to 3. At least latest 10 past 3 big old because batho bana ba kwala akere
Yeah, okay.
ne
Can you start with
Okay, but when we say, yeah, okay, let's start at the big because the Subuka house does not close.
does not
You can
close.
even come there at 5 or
Yeah.
Okay.
The big hall has got a Chisanyama next door. That's where we will lunch for today.
And what's the song?
Yeah, the first screen is there. It means it's for today. Yeah, now.
Okay. So the big old tour, it takes 1 hour. I mean, just the inside. There's the big old tour, then there's the mine museum. So big old, it takes an hour. So as I think maybe let's get to the big old, do the inside tour so that Amakwala we still can re kgona go ka tsena mo ntle mo the mine museum. Hey.
Let's move. Let's